Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Angela. And for some reason, the word karma has come up a lot in the last few days for me. And then today I came across a karmic spread. Let me find it here on Pinterest. Looks like this karmic spread. There's 6 questions, and I thought I would go ahead and do it. We are close to Halloween. It is the, I don't know, 21st, 22nd, somewhere in there. It's Saturday. Yeah, October 22nd, 2022. So I thought I'll go ahead and use my new tarot deck, the Trick or Treat Tarot, which is this, to do this spread. And then I pulled a card from my Halloween Oracle just to show like an overall question. So we have the 5 cards here, and this one actually popped out with 2. So I got 2 for this question 6. So let's start off with and I did like a meditation real quick beforehand and before I pulled the cards and everything. So yeah, without further ado, let's get this show on the road. So for the overall energy of this spread, I have the Vampire, emotional intelligence. Interesting. So I want to keep the word emotional intelligence in mind as we go through this spread. I have not looked at the cards. I did pull them. So this should be quite interesting. So without further ado, let's get this spread going. So what did I just do with my phone? So for the first question, we have karma that still needs to be worked out. And that's this card here, and I pulled the Knight of Swords. I like this tarot deck because it's like real people just dressing up for Halloween. And setting with this card for a second. Karma that still needs to be worked out. And I'm immediately thought of fears and phobias with this card, like a fear of the night, a fear of robbers, a fear of someone breaking in. Never mind that it's the Knight of Swords. He's ready for a fight, but and maybe that is the karmic lesson that still needs to be learned, is maybe not everything is a fight. Because I do feel like I fight for my voice, my opinions, just my thoughts in general. I have to fight to get them out there. So maybe that's the karmic lesson that's needed to be learned here, is that it doesn't have to be a fight. I can figure out a way to do it differently than fight. That's quite interesting. I also find it interesting with these candles burnt down here. There's also, again, it brings up maybe a fear of fire. I don't feel like I have a fear of fire, but maybe it's something that's deep-seated. Quite interesting. So let's go with card 2 here. Card 2 is the most important lesson in this life. And I find these questions super fascinating. Oh my God. Okay, this question was most important lesson in this life. The 6 of Cups. The 6 of Cups is normally a card about nostalgia, your childhood, maybe reliving some tumultuous memories. And I find this fascinating in this deck because the very first deck that I really learned tarot on was the Illuminati Tarot. The 6 of Cups in that deck freaks me out because it looks like 2 kids minding their business, and then there's a man in the background watching them. And I almost get a pedophile vibe from that card. I get the same vibe from this card in this deck. The only other deck I have that I feel like he's like, here, kid, let me give you some candy, and then before he kidnaps him. It just freaks me out. And the fact that this card is what came up for the question of most important lesson in this life, kind of weird. And then maybe that goes along with the fears and phobias. Maybe there's a deep-seated fear there of someone in authority that's above me, or I'm not even getting a parental vibe, although the parental vibe should be there because of how I was raised. I had a very abusive childhood. I couldn't count on any of my parents. My stepfather was abusive. My mother was abusive. My dad didn't really know about it. He never really came around. So this is like one of my fears of me maybe not being a good mother. That is one of my biggest fears, of always trying to strive to be better than she was. And maybe that is why, that's interesting, because I just thought of that. Maybe that is why I have a kind of a fear of this card. Because I don't want my kids looking back at something like this and going, oh, I had such a horrible childhood. Nothing like, I mean, they would have nothing like what I have today, trust me. But that is quite interesting that all that just came up. Like, I just feel like I just vomited all that up. That's weird. Very interesting. So for question 3, and this is a very good spread, and these are questions that I've really thought about and just not putting the spread to it. So it's cool that I found this spread on the day that I've literally been talking about karma. I talked about it today. I talked about it this morning. I talked about it yesterday at work. It's weird that all of a sudden I found this spread. So for question 3, past life lessons I have learned. Past life lessons I have learned. Death, really? And he's handed her this white rose. And again, there's this, to me, authority figure handing the young girl the flower. But I feel like, and that's the thing with this life, is every time I do have someone to pass away, I'm not really emotional about it. Emotional intelligence. I don't really get emotional about it because I know there's something better for them. Or I know that I feel like even before I started my spiritual journey, I knew deep down somewhere that there was more than just death. If that makes any sense. So that's quite interesting that even the death and then this vampire with emotional intelligence comes up. Maybe there is an emotional component there where someone passes, especially a relative or someone close to you. There is an emotional state here, but I don't get that. Not that I don't understand it. It's just I don't have that. I don't laugh or giggle or anything when they pass, and I do feel sadness. I just don't have this emotional breakdown, if you will. And that's quite interesting that maybe this is something I learned in a past life that I've come to understand. Within this life, I have this emotional intelligence when it comes to death. So that's quite interesting. So for card 4, past life lessons yet to be learned. Past life lessons yet to be learned. Oh my God. 8 of Pentacles. And the 8 of Pentacles is all about mastering that craft, mastering it just came to my mind. It says mastering the art of something. And it almost hears like she's the artist painting the puppy, the dots on the puppies. And I found that very cute card. Even though she's depicting herself as Cruella de Vil, she's got all these kids. And she's mastered this craft she's got all these babies that are now these little Dalmatians. It's super cute. But just the fact that this card pops up, I mean, the cards that are popping up is like, really? But the 8 of Pentacles is a card that pops up for me when it's understanding that working hard, yes, you can work hard to master this craft, but work is not everything. And that's what's coming up here for me. There's also time for play. You don't need to work yourself to death because there's more to life than that. And that is number 4, past life lessons yet to be learned. So maybe that is the lesson that I'm still trying to master and overcome in this life, is not just working myself to death. I need time for me, time to play also. So that's quite interesting. So for question 5, we got helpful influences. Helpful influences. We got the 7 of Pentacles. Okay, we got the 7 and 8 of Pentacles here. That's crazy. The 7 of Pentacles to me is all about a give and take, but this card is so fun. And the fact that it's Elvis, and I went to a wedding last Saturday and they had an Elvis impersonator. I'm telling you, this deck is like reflecting my entire life right now. It's crazy. And he's even wearing a pentacle on as his belt buckle. I love that. But this ties in with the previous card, I think, where it's saying, the helpful influences is to dance, to march to the beat of your Under Armour, to be that person that inside is this fun, loving, get your mind off things, go dancing, go singing, go do something fun. Enjoy the moment while you're in it, kind of deal for me. And I think that's cool. And that can help influence me to get out of this and to understand this life lesson that I need to understand. Work isn't everything. So I think those two go hand in hand together. That's quite beautiful. So card 6, things to avoid, and 2 cards actually I was drawn to. We got the Ace of Wands and Justice. Oh my God. Okay. The Ace of Wands is, to me, the wands are all about beginnings, and any beginning. And this is things to avoid, it says. So I find that interesting because to me, the Ace of Wands is taking that first action. And it looks like there's I just noticed that for the first time. The element on their wrist. But just the fact that popped up when all I keep getting here lately is that I need to take action. And to me, the Ace of the Wands is all about taking action. And the Ace of Wands, to me, even further says you need to take action. But then this is in a position of things to avoid. So now I'm confused. Maybe there's a moment in time right now that I need to take a step back, take a breather, take time out of trying to work so hard and get something accomplished, and let my hair down and decide what is most important to me. So that's interesting. Instead of going blindly rushing into some form of action, I need to take a breather. And then the Justice card for me it's weird. And I actually talked about this card yesterday with somebody. I had a coworker asked me to pull a card for her, and I pulled this card. And I see here the Monopoly Man. It looks like the Monopoly Man and Lady Justice. However, when I pulled it up for her, and every time I see this card now, I think of that. And it's weird that it's things to avoid again. Because I always like the Justice card, because to me, it's always about karmic balance. Finding that karmic balance. Because Lady Justice will always get hers. Karma, they say, is a bitch. Karma will always get her due. And so I feel like karma and justice are the same in that aspect. But when I drew it for her yesterday, I kept hearing fake justice. And I'm like, why am I hearing fake justice? Well, I know I'm hearing fake justice because this isn't really Lady Liberty. It's a lady dressed up like Lady Justice. And just the simple fact that coupled with the question she asked, it was a perfect card for her. And it was perfect me hearing fake justice. And I just kept hearing it on a loop over and over and over. Fake justice, fake justice, fake justice. And it's so that kind of set with me now when it's saying things to avoid is, and especially coupled with the Ace of Wands, going into something like headlong, not knowing all the facts maybe, and not realizing that while you think you're doing something justified, it's really not. To take that time to be like the Hangman or the Hermit and take the time to see what is what, and have that emotional intelligence. You have that emotional intelligence not to rush in and let your emotions run away with you. to look for the clues that maybe not everything is as it seems. And that's what I get with this card. I don't get balance. I don't get justice. I get not everything is as it seems in this card, in this particular deck. So I find that quite interesting that keeps coming back to me also. Not everything is as it seems. And I find it interesting that they've got the green tapestry here, because to me, I hear green with envy or greed, something about greed. I just keep hearing that over and over and over right now. So I find that interesting that is talking about Lady Liberty and Lady Justice, but it's in a more mask wearing way, where it's just a mask to cover up the real greed or whatever underneath. And I find that interesting that that's things to avoid. And I hope I'm making sense to you guys, because I don't feel like I'm making sense at all with this card, because I really have a profound balance with this card, except for this deck. This is the first time I've ever, and I've got quite a few decks now, this is the first time in a deck I've seen something other than a balance in a justice card. So I find it quite interesting, and I just keep hearing the negative parts of it, like the green with envy or greed. Money is the root of all evil, as they say, and he's got a dollar bag in his hand. Maybe it's telling me, these are things to avoid. Don't seek fame and fortune, because that's not what's going to make you happy. And I think that's what I've been trying to get out this whole time. I apologize. But I think that's what my mind has been trying to work out when I've been saying the things about this card, is that, and especially with this, like, it's don't work yourself to death. Take time out for you. Take time out to have fun. Again, we got the death card here. Don't work yourself to death, because there's more to life than that. And that kind of backs that up, or money isn't everything. You need to take the time for you. You need to take the time out to find out what makes you happy, not just to make money. So that's what I see in this spread. I think this spread was very helpful, very interesting, very enlightening. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, don't hesitate to comment below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification button so you're alerted to any future videos. And you guys have a good night. Bye.